Everyone wants something, whether that be a dream job, or they want to learn a new subject, or something as simple and rewarding as just winning a first place medal in a marathon race. It's what we, as a high-functioning capitalistic society, are programmed to do. We put in those extra hours and make certain sacrifices to ultimately move towards a goal that we want to achieve. In F. Scott Fitzgerald's book, The Great Gatsby, the audience is able to see just what exactly drives the characters to make the decisions that they make. The prime example of this overall characteristic is demonstrated through Gatsby. Every choice he's made in his life for the past 5 years has been devoted to achieving his American dream. And so he worked for it. He went to drastic and illegal measures to achieve what he desired. What exactly drives Gatsby to being this absolutely insanely devoted person? For him, it was pride, money, and most of all, romance. And it is in this insanely obsessive romance he has with Daisy Buchanan that we are able to see exactly what his green light is. Romance is Gatsby's primary motivation for pursuing his green light. Now for me, on the other hand, I'm not like Gatsby. I don't have his insane dedication, and I don't have this motivation that drives him. So in saying that, my green light would be finding this motivation, this willpower. Drive and willpower are both a deep-rooted desire to achieve something in particular. And as a human being, I obviously have certain characteristics revolving around willpower. However, it's complicated with me because I'm afraid of making the wrong choice due to insecurity and mindless anxieties. And this presents a daily problem for me because it keeps me from fully pursuing and devoting myself to making decisions that will actually benefit my future. An example of this would be actually picking a job, because as of now, nothing drives me. I don't have any particular subjects that really catch my eye. Recently, I ended up quitting soccer, something I've been doing for at least 12 years. And the reasoning behind why I quit is related. At the age and level I was playing at, you really had to put in those extra hours to really build up your endurance and practice to ultimately become a successful player and a reliable teammate. At this point in time, I realized that I did not have any specific motivation that could drive me to do anything about it. And I was significantly falling behind the rest of my team. And I noticed this, and I'm sure they did too. So I really did the only viable option, and I quit. And it's pretty sad, all things considered, because I know for a fact if I did have this motivation and this drive to be this successful player who put in those extra hours, I could definitely do it. However, if I pushed myself that hard physically and I wasn't in the right emotional state, I would not thrive. In fact, I would likely become worse than I was. And I'm pretty afraid that that would have damaged my mental health. And this lack of motivation is starting to bleed into my daily tasks, which is worrisome because I'm afraid that I could fall into the state of not even being able to get out of bed in the morning. And especially at this age, that's not something I want. And now that we've established what my green light is, I want to get on to talking about how I can pursue it. 1, healthy coping mechanisms. I don't mean therapy. But finding hobbies that actually motivate me and result in me wanting to do them and accomplish them and do well at them, it's a good place to start. I'm thinking that this joyful sensation that I could feel, sense of accomplishment, could be that motivating factor that I need in my life. For example, I'm good at art. Now, I have a tendency of starting a project and not finishing it. In saying that, I could start off with smaller projects, easy projects, ones that I can guarantee myself that I'd finish. And then once I'm done, I could really bask in this sensation of accomplishment and really use that as the main motivating factor in other assignments, other projects, and other daily tasks. Similarly to a staircase, sure, it might take a while to get up there, but you're gonna make it to the top eventually. Skipping a few steps along the way isn't always the best option, and we can see that when we find out that Gatsby took illegal measures, such as bootlegging, to become the wealthy man he is today. I believe starting small would benefit me emotionally, mentally, and quite literally. If this method begins to work, I can use it to encourage myself to pursue much bigger things. Learning to drive, thinking of a part-time job, and start making plans for my future. Now, I suspect my main form of motivation would have to be self-satisfaction and pride, which, yes, is quite selfish, but like most, that tends to be the most broad characteristic surrounding overall motivation. If I can focus specifically on these traits, I'm sure finding my motivation and this willpower buried deep down, my overall willpower would be a lot easier, and achieving my green light would be a significantly less stressful journey than Gatsby's.